diddle, diddle, Kittle down the middle.
Holy cow.
Oh, I'm bringing it, Kittle.
This is the Football Hour on 95.7 The Game.
All right, welcome into the Football Hour on the end of Week 2 here in the National Football League. Once these Monday night games are over, Sean Salisbury, along with my phenomenal partner Lorenzo Neal, like 35 years in the NFL and should be a Hall of Famer. They need to put fullbacks in. I say it every week and will continue to. I'm Sean Salisbury. Thanks to Sterling and Cam, who are along with us as well. And here we are to kick off Monday night. I don't want to bury the lead. 49ers win, obviously, 27-7, a dominant performance, and they put the Seahawks back to where they belong with a loss on their record. Now, let's move to this next one. Lo, welcome in. First off, just your kind of initial thoughts about yesterday's game before we get to what really needs to be discussed.
Yeah, I thought that they beat a team that they should have won the game. It was a Seattle team that is not that good. Secondary, has young guys. It's a young team. I thought the 49ers played great. I love to see Jimmy, see what the team did. They came out and they took care of business. You win the game you're supposed to win. Unfortunately, the week before they didn't do that. This week they did.
Lo, great point. I always say in a PGA Tour event, you got to birdie the par fives or eagle them to win a PGA Tour event or a major, and that's what Seattle is. They're a birdie hole. When you play other teams, like you run into the Rams or you run into the Chargers or you run into the Chiefs, that's a par hole. That once in a while you'll par the hole. If you're lucky, once in a while you make birdie, and sometimes you make bogey. Those are tougher. They did win.
Sure.
All right, let's get. We'll take the victory any way we can get it. But obviously the bigger story is what happened in that victory and how the greatest insurance policy in the NFL in Jimmy Garoppolo this year at quarterback is now the starting quarterback, and this is why you buy the insurance policy. And they're fortunate now that they did because they have a Super Bowl roster. Let me come out and say, folks, you got to stop. First off, none of us want Trey Lance hurt. None of us. I hate that. 4 starts into his career low. I've been carted off the field twice with shredded knees. He's got the broken ankle. It sucks, and nobody wants that at all. So everybody will root for his return, but Jimmy's got a job to do. The team's got a job to do, and you got to go play football. And Trey Lance will rehab, and he'll get back. And now it's been delayed another year. We know that, and our best to Trey Lance. But let me hit this football team right off the bat. What I'm hearing across the country and in San Francisco, save it. Save it, whether you think Jimmy or we'll get to the Jimmy or Trey, who's better for the team. I don't think the 49ers got worse with this. Now, it's a bummer the way it happened, so I don't mean it insensitive. I'm talking about strictly football, Lo, strictly football. Because we always, as players, we always root for people to be healthy enough to get through games. But I can tell you this, I don't want to hear local, national fans, any of us. Now, if you do, I'll have the argument with you. You begged for Trey Lance for what reason? More versatile and gives you legs that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't give you. You asked for a dual-threat quarterback. You asked for a guy that could beat you on the edge. You asked for a guy that would get more involved in the run game. You asked for a more dynamic talent. You asked for stuff that Lamar Jackson could do, that Josh Allen could do, that Jimmy couldn't do. You asked for it. Now the world's pissed that Kyle designed plays to get him on the edge. Oh, no. No way. Say you don't get to go that hindsight, because that's why they made the change. You spent first-round draft picks on him. You begged for a guy who's got versatility. Why? Because that's what we do now. We want guys that can throw it, and we want guys that can move it, and we want guys that can escape it, and we want guys that can extend it. And now you're pissed that he dials up 3 runs in this game. Lamar does it every week. You're getting guys, Josh Allen does it every week. Kyler Murray does it every week. Sorry, you don't get to come out now and say, what is Kyle doing running? Well, first off, Jimmy's a better, more consistent, accurate passer than Trey Lance. Lance is a more dynamic talent, but we've only seen him start 4 games. So I want him out there. The 49ers, as far as football goes, on this current roster with Jimmy, did not get worse yesterday. Trey Lance doesn't get these reps. It's unfortunate. I hate it for the young man because I think he's got a chance to be really good. But you guys can save the narrative on Twitter, on social media. Why are we running him? Because that's why he's playing. He sure didn't win the job because he's a better pure passer, at least yet. He may be in 2024. He may be in 2023. But you asked for Josh Allen. You wanted this guy. You wanted Jalen Hurts with ability to move and extend plays. And now that we're dialing up runs, you're mad? Oh, save it for somebody who's listening. No. Unfortunate injuries happen.
Oh, my God.
But I don't want to hear one bit about that. Why are we running him? That's why Trey Lance is a starting quarterback. His versatility. Period. Good gracious, Lo. I said here,
hallelujah.
They drive me nuts.
No, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And I thank God that you're on the show with me, brother. Do you know I've been talking to people today, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are worse than politicians.
It's convenient,
like,
yeah.
The hypocrisy of this. The hypocrisy of this. It's hypocrisy at its highest level. I'm like, what do you look at the hypocrisy? You guys say, Trey Lance, like you said, he's versatile. That 3rd and 13 last week against Chicago, guess what? Jimmy's not getting that. In the weather, so when you look at the things that Trey was able to do, this was a move because the potential in the ceiling was higher. It's like crazy when people say, oh my God, well, why is he running? He shouldn't be running. Oh my God. No, this is the kind of quarterback that he is. And for everybody to be upset, and it's absurd to me. And I'm glad, Sean, that you addressed it the way you did. I can't add anything because everything you said was spot on.
Yeah, no, and Lo, listen, I understand we're all frustrated by the injury, so emotion kicks in. But you got to sit back. If you're just talking about pure passer right now, accurate, then Trey's explosiveness and his ability to beat you in more ways than one is exactly why he's playing. That's why you drafted him. You didn't draft him to say, sit in that hula hoop in the pocket and be Brady. No, here's what's funny. When you got Brady, you want Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. When you got Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, if they get hurt, all of a sudden you want the guy who sits in the pocket. Well, I've listened for years doing this show and across the league. Oh, gosh, can we get a guy like Herbert who can run? Can we please get a guy who can throw and run? Jimmy can't move. We got to get a guy with versatility that can stretch the field and get on the edge. Like I said, the injury sucks. But, I'm not buying 1 ounce of that BS argument. It's 888-957-9570. You begged for it. They drafted him. Why? Because the upside and the explosive talent to beat you with your feet, beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs and extend plays, dial up runs like you saw Lamar do yesterday, like we watching Jalen Hurts throw and run tonight, like we watch Josh Allen do every single week, and Herbert. And now, then when a guy gets hurt, you wonder why he didn't run. I got news for you. If Trey Lance isn't expanding the plays, isn't extending runs, Trey Lance wouldn't be the starting quarterback this year. His explosiveness and to be able to bust through a ceiling is exactly why he's playing. Put it this way. If he doesn't get hurt and he carries 9 times for 80 yards and throws for 210 and a touchdown and no intercept, you know what they'll say? Kyle did an unbelievable job of adjusting, because Kyle's stubborn, adjusting his game plan to his strength, which is a quarterback who moves on RPO and bootlegs and get him on the stretch play, get him out of the pocket and extend everything we do. We're begging for that, right? And everybody's mad because Kyle's been stubborn. Well, Kyle switched. He gave you what you wanted, and unfortunately, injuries happened, and you'd never want them. But good gracious, I heard it last year and the year before. When are we going to get a guy like that guy in Buffalo, or that can expand the plays and make something happen when nothing's there, and then utilize? So now we're going to coach out. So you're telling me now, to the fans who are mad that they're using a guy for his feet, so you're telling me now, when Trey Lance comes back in 2023, you want him to just be a pocket guy, huh? And run play action once in a while, maybe extend a play. We're going to coach his feet out of him. Yep, and that's what we're going to do in Baltimore. We're going to call John Harbaugh and say, hey, listen, take Lamar's feet away, dude. Make the call to Buffalo at the end of the third quarter and say, Josh Allen, we don't want him. So, listen, you can't beg for one guy. Beg the coach. And you know what a good coach does? A good coach adjusts to his talent. He doesn't make the talent adjust to him. If you got a certain offense, you say, you know what? Like Andy Reid did with Mahomes. Andy Reid's a West Coast offense guy, all that. Andy Reid's doing stuff he'd never done in the NFL in his life when Mahomes came on. Why? Because the guy allows you to do it. The guy gives you that versatility. I can assure you Ken Dorsey ain't ever coached a guy like Josh Allen. who can kill you in 30 different ways. And that's what you drafted Trey Lance that high for and gave all that up. And now that he runs and extends plays and unfortunately gets hurt, you want him to come back and we want to coach that out of him? And I'll damn well tell you, if you do that when he comes back, guess what we'll say? Like we're saying about Russ Wilson right now. Is he afraid to run? Why are they coaching that out of him? Why isn't he extending plays? You don't get to have – injuries are unfortunate and they suck. And that's coming from a guy with experience that's had 2 shredded knees. I can tell you this, I still wish I could have ran and not just been a pocket guy, okay? So you don't get to beg for one, and just because it doesn't fit the narrative of, oh, he got hurt. He could. Oh, so what happens if you get hurt from the pocket? Guess what they say, Lo? The people that are saying it. Oh, I wish he would scramble more. Can we dial plays to get him off his mark and to stretch the field and to get him to a point where we're changing his launch point? So, no, folks, if you're pointing at Kyle Shanahan for trying to mix in versatility, then you ain't watching the same game I'm watching, and you are 100%, without question, dead friggin' wrong. Go ahead, brother.
Great.
My bad. I read all day long, dude. Driving me nuts.
No. It drives me nuts too, and this is a breath of fresh air for me. I'm glad I don't have to even talk about it, because you can't pray for rain and complain about the mud. You said you wanted this. You talked about the inability to move the pocket, all the different things that you couldn't do with Jimmy G. We understand that, hey, Jimmy G is an efficient quarterback and all those different things, who he is. We get it. But this kid had so much more potential and more upside, and that's why Kyle Shanahan said, this guy is going to give us more diversity. We can now teams got to cover every blade of grass. He's going to be able to get outside the pocket. He's going to bring us versatility. And everyone's complaining. You know who had Dorner 500 yards last year rushing and carried the ball over 50 sometimes? Mahomes.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
No one's talking. You see, it's
because he's healthy. That's why.
I get it. I mean,
right.
Yes. He's carrying the ball. Josh Allen. I mean, shoot. Look at Lamar Jackson yesterday. 130 some yards rushing, and his frame's not bigger than this kid from San Francisco. He's a smaller frame, body shorter, everything else. It's crazy that people are like, this guy it was a freak accident. He's running him too much. They're going to kill the guy. Dude, Buffalo's doing it all the time. Watch what games you guys watching. Even Tannehill runs the ball. I mean, dude, I get what everyone is there. They want to blame. They want to demonize someone. They want someone to crucify, and they're going after Kyle Shanahan. And I'm with you, Sean. I think they're wrong, and they're out of line.
Yeah, unfortunate luck. The number is 888-957-957. Lorenzo Neal. I'm Sean Salisbury here on, it's a fired-up night here on our Monday Night Football show, and grateful to be on it with my guy, the Football Hour, and Lorenzo Neal. And we are, listen, guys, with Kyle Shanahan, I can imagine, let's just go into a game. Let me reverse this. And you're playing the Rams, and Trey Lance is playing. And unfortunate and bad luck happens to players. I hate it, but it happens. This is not a physical game. Football's a violent game. And I've seen plenty of quarterbacks take worse hits in the pocket than they do outside the pocket, because some of those you can't see. Bad things happen sometimes, and it's unfortunate. And it's a blessing to be so versatile and mobile and athletic as Trey Lance. It can be a curse, because what do? And he's done it himself, as Lamar and Josh Allen do. They rely on that extra great ability to extend plays, and maybe sometimes when they shouldn't. I'm not saying Trey did, but we all do. We lean on what is something we do well, and that is something Trey Lance does extremely well. So I'm going to take you to a game and just say, okay, let's say Trey's out there playing, and all of a sudden you're playing a team with a vicious pass rush, and he's getting hit from the pocket. You know what they're going to say? You know what across the country what people are going to say to Kyle? Why aren't you designing runs for him to get him on the move and move the pocket? Why? Well, you guys told me you wanted him to throw from a hula hoop in the pocket, sitting in a small circle. But now that we've designed 3 runs before he got hurt in the game, and a bad luck, unfortunate, now you want to tell me, I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. I want you to listen closely to what I'm telling you, loud and friggin' clear. If Trey Lance comes back and they decide, and Trey decides, I ain't running anymore, I'm just going to be a pocket guy, I want you to understand something. You better be Drew Brees' accuracy if that's who you're going to be, and he's got a long way to go to be that, and I hope he turns into be a superstar. If you take Trey Lance's feet away from him and his legs, Trey Lance will never, ever, ever, ever be a franchise quarterback. His great is he's got both the threat to kill you on the edge, an enormous arm, and through-the-roof skill set. And when you play a quarterback like that, it's miserable on defense, especially once after 4 starts, after 14 or 15 or 30 starts, then you get into it, and he's even a bigger weapon. But when you go into a game like that, nothing bothers defenses worse than and trying to game plan for, we had him sewn up in the pocket, and he killed us on the edge. And they're running these designed RPOs that are killing us. And they're bootlegging him and throwing from different angles and different arm slots and different points, the launch points. So I'm just telling you, be careful what you wish for. Because if he comes back, I'll tell you when you know that Kyle Shanahan, that he's not going to be your guy. When Kyle Shanahan quits dialing up stuff that allows Trey Lance to accentuate his phenomenal skill set. So, no. That's like taking, you know what? Okay, so let's go to tell Steph, and I'm not saying that Trey Lance is Steph by any stretch of the imagination, but can you imagine saying, man, Steph, we need you down in the low block. Man, the perimeter, I don't want you to hurt your ankles when you're cutting and coming off the dribble and crossing a guy over. Shoot 2-pointers, not 3. The Golden State would, Steve, what'd you just say? No, or the opposite. Listen, Elijah on when he played, hey, dude, I can't have you in the low block shooting that dream shake. I don't want you to fall down on somebody's ankle. No. Go out and shoot threes, Giannis. What'd you just say to me? So you stop it. Stop the convenient criticism. Stop the finger pointing because a play caller called a play and a guy unfortunately got hurt. He unfortunately got hurt. And it sucks beyond belief. But you got to save. That narrative ain't flying with me, not today. I'll die on the hill. And listen, now I've had with Kyle. I don't have a problem criticizing him. In this case, I'm going to call up Philadelphia tonight and say, nope, Jalen Hurts, I want you to keep him in the pocket because I can't get him hurt. Now, if you're running it 37 times a game with a quarterback, then you're just an idiot. Okay, you're just a friggin' idiot as a play caller. 6, sometimes it's going to be 9. Sometimes it'll be 4. Sometimes it's going to be 12. Sometimes it's an 80-yard run and it was only 2, but it was a game breaker. So you can save the should-haves, would-haves, and could-haves from your friggin' living room, drinking a beer while you're talking to your buddies and saying, I would have done this. No, because if he doesn't do it, you're pissed that we're not extending the play and letting Trey Lance do what he does best. And that's what. Low, stay tuned now. You stay tuned in about 4 weeks when Jimmy gets sacked 4 times in a game and he can't get on the edge. And he can't get on the edge. And you know what they're going to say? See, if we had Trey Lance, he'd have stepped out of that one and ran for 9 yards. That's what they're going to say. But I'll tell you this. Depth got worse. I hate it for Trey Lance, but I promise you this. Their football team, with what they got, did not get worse on game day for this 49er team this year. The gap is closed to the Rams because of the experience, not because of the talent. And Jimmy is right now at this stage of their career a better pure passer. Accurate, period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. No question. And that's and that's why we can talk, brother, and that's what it's great. If you sit there and you said, hey, look, let's compare this young kid to friggin' Jimmy G and X's and O's, it wouldn't even be close. Jimmy has way more experience. He's been behind Tom Brady. He understands where to go with the football. He understands offenses. This guy's in his second, third year coming into his, so Trey Lance is not even on the same page when it comes to that. We're just talking about from a raw athletic ability. Every time Trey got in the game, you're like, oh my God, what is he going to do? You held your breath. You're like, man, sometimes he can throw a beautiful long ball. He can hit guys. You're like, wow, that's great. And you're excited. But then you're looking at, sometimes you hold your breath because you just don't know because he's young. Now you're in a situation, the fans, they know what they're getting. You're getting Jimmy G. He's going to be consistent. He's going to be accurate. He's going to get sacked. He's not going to be able to scramble and get out of the way of harm's way. And the line's going to have to do a better job protecting him. You're going to have to be more efficient. But this team is in a good hands with Jimmy. Jimmy's a veteran and a good quarterback. And I'm happy for Jimmy because now, Sean, everybody was talking about, 2 weeks ago before this, why you throw the rookie in his second year? He's not ready. Jimmy. Because now I love it because now Jimmy gets to write his book. He already wrote his beginning. He already has his introduction. He's wrote the body. And now he gets to write his conclusion because he's going to be, barring any injuries, he is going to be the San Francisco 49ers for the duration of the year. But you know what, Sean? There's only one way Jimmy wins. And there was only one way that Trey was going to win. And there was only going to be one way that Kyle Shanahan won. And you know what that one way was? If Trey Lance had to go win the Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan had to be right. If Jimmy goes and play now, if Jimmy don't win the Super Bowl, what are they going to say? If Cal, so no matter what, Sean, no one could have won. This what the fans has set this team up for. If whoever, so they couldn't have won. If Trey would have lost, oh my God, he shouldn't win. If Jimmy lose, we should have gone. If Cal, whatever happens, Kyle Shanahan cannot be right the way the fans in the media, the way they are.
Friggin' men. Amen. Lorenzo Neal, Sean Salisbury here on the Football Hour. We'll take your calls when we come back. We got a lot to discuss, and this is a hot button topic. 888-957-9570. This segment has been sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Coming right back, Football Hour.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
You put it in your mouth and you chew it up real good.
I know how to chew gum, Dad.
Hurry up, we got leaks to fix.
What are you two up to?
We're fixing our leaky pipes.
Yeah.
With gum?
Yeah, it's a hack, Mom.
A what?
A hack.
You know.
A do-it-yourself trick.
No, the trick to fixing leaks and low water pressure is calling Repipe Specialists.
You mean professionals?
I mean, Repipe Specialists can repipe our whole house in 1 to 2 days. Fix the leaks and low water pressure, repair the holes in the walls if we want, and they guarantee their work for life.
Got leaks or low water pressure? Call the professionals at Repipe Specialists, and in 1 to 2 days, they can repipe your whole house with new PEX tubing. With over 60,000 repipes completed, that's their specialty.
You really stepped in it.
I was just being...
Gum, Dad. You
What?
stepped in the gum.
Oh, great.
Call 800-217-1636 for a free in-home estimate and ask about their 0% financing options. That's 800-217-1636. Call today, 800-217-1636, or visit repipe.com.
At Left Coast Buyers, we buy properties all over California. If you own a house or an apartment building and want to sell it fast at a great price, call us at 925-434-5000. We can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. We buy properties in any condition, any price range. Do you own a property that is run down and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Are you out of time, money, and energy? Are you looking for an easy way to get top dollar for your property and sell on your terms and timeline? Well, call Left Coast Buyers now at 925-434-5000. We buy divorce houses, inherited houses. We even buy vacant houses and abandoned houses. Do you have a tenant who hasn't paid? Are you behind on property taxes, mortgage payments, or even facing a foreclosure? Even if you're just nervous about capital gains or an upcoming recession, we've seen it all. So if you or someone you know owns a property and needs to sell, call Left Coast Buyers at 925-434-5000. That's 925-434-5000.
Don't waste your time trying to sell your old car. Donate it to Cars for Kids. It's the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your car today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
San Rafael will be cloudy with a chance of rain, low of 58.
Brought to you by Ashley Furniture. Your neighborhood Ashley store has all the styles, selection, and value you'll need to invite fall in this season. Find furniture you'll love by shopping locally or visit Ashley.com today.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Michael Phelps. I think for me in 2014, when I found myself in that dark place where I didn't want to be alive in those 4 days when I was in my room by myself, I wanted to find a different way. I wanted to find a different answer. I was sick and tired of feeling how I felt, and that's why I started to seek help, and that's when I checked myself into a treatment center.
Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening 2-hour national mental health conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Talk saves lives.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Dell Technologies semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Now, back to the Football Hour with Sean Salisbury and Lo Neal on 95.7 The Game.
Indeed, 95.7 The Game, and an hour is not enough, but we're going to maximize the building, and we're going to maximize your calls. We'll roll through them along with Sterling and Cam, my guy Lo Neal, and I, and a very, very passionate conversation about you don't get to beg for the versatility of Trey Lance and then be mad when he runs it. Can't do it, but you can, but you're not going to get me off this mark one bit, or my guy Lo Neal. But Lo, before we get to our callers, and we're going to roll through the callers, and thank you guys for your patience, 888-957-9570. Lo, you did some little pregame at the Hilton yesterday. What happened? Tell me about it. How was it?
Oh, my God, it was absolutely legendary. Harris Ranch was there, Harris Ranch beef, had some nice brats, big burgers. Just the fans and the people there at the Hilton were just amazing. Just watching the 49ers, the gold, the faithful, they came out in the groves. It was just awesome. Awesome event, man. Totally awesome, bro.
So, yeah, it sounds like I need to be there instead of sitting here talking to you about it, right?
Yeah.
Get out there to the Hilton. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Got myself some brats and some good old burgers. So that was great. At the Hilton, Lo Neal, and I'm sure he was holding court the whole time. Awesome stuff. This is 95.7 The Game, the Football Hour. Let's get to your calls, your patience. We appreciate you. We got a lot of callers, so state your case. Let's roll now. And the 49ers, by the way, they win a game. So it's a good thing. Unfortunate for Trey Lance, which it all sucks for him, and nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Bobby, welcome in, man. How you doing?
Hey, good for having me on. Thanks for having me on, fellas. And I was listening to you, Sean and Lo, and I understand you guys know way more football than I got. And I have absolutely no issue with Trey running. Right, I've seen some clips of him in college, and I was excited about that. Here's my issue: that QB power up the middle. We're not talking about Lo Neal going up the middle. We're talking about a quarterback going up the middle on multiple occasions. Not only Seattle game, but Chicago game, and we all kind of felt, not all, but a lot of us felt it. And he's going to get this guy hurt if he keep running up the middle. I'm thinking run it to the outside, and I know maybe don't get the chance, but I'm just thinking there's got to be a way to avoid that QB power. And I just got a question for you both. How many teams do you see running their quarterback or their so-called franchise quarterback up the middle of multiple cases?
A lot. A lot, Bobby. Bobby, a lot. And thanks for the call. And I'm just going to tell you, and we appreciate you, that When I say a lot of different. You'll see Josh Allen. You'll see Josh Fields. You'll see Justin Fields. You will see Cam Newton did it on a regular basis. You'll see Herbert do it when necessary. I watch Driscoll come in.
Fields from Chicago.
That's exactly right. You're going to watch
from Chicago.
Josh Allen. That's what's that? Oh yeah, there's no question. That's why I said Justin Fields in Chicago. Here's the deal. You're not going to steady diet. Now let me go back to the Chicago game. You couldn't throw the football, and we gave him a hall pass for that because of the bad weather. And trying to get your footing on the outside and hand off, you're worried about the exchange, and he's a big body. And if all you're doing is running outside, and then you get an injury in the run game, so that's the aberration. But yes, big physical quarterbacks are the norm now. If it's 3rd and 1, guess what did we complain about last night? Was it last night? Oh yeah, you're at the 1 yard line and you get in a gun. It was Fields yesterday against Green Bay.
Right.
They got in the gun and ran it. That big 225
pound. Yes.
Right. That's right. Got him in the gun and you're running downhill. So yes, Bobby, it happens all the time. It doesn't happen 30 times a game from a quarterback, and I don't think you're ever going to see him do it. But on 3rd and 1 and he's 230. That ball ain't heavy. Get your body there. They're going to mix it in there. The big physical ones will do it. Hence why you're trying to move things around. You got to change it up. No issue with running between the tackles once in a while at all. Let's get to Walter in, is it Pinole? If I pronounced it right, Walter, welcome in.
Yeah, hey, so I feel like everyone's a bunch of softies. They're all blaming Kyle Shanahan for what happened to Trey Lance. Look, man, he has a military mentality, all right? There's no time to grieve. We got to move on. He said no time to think. He went straight to Garoppolo, and they won the game, and it's unfortunate that we're not talking about the game. We're talking about this
right.
Trey Lance and Garoppolo deal. For anyone that thinks that he did this on purpose to hurt Trey Lance, man, it's preposterous, man. I can't believe, that's even in the conversation. Lastly, guys, if you can answer my question, Trey Lance had been his carries per game was 12. I want to know how many were design plays. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. And Lo, I want you to answer. We'll both answer. First of all, before Lo answers that question, you'll get design and runs. And in the Chicago game, the weather dictated him holding the ball more than exchanges or throwing. You guys weren't. When I hear people talk about, well, we couldn't throw it as much or accurate because of the weather, and now we're mad that he ran it. What the hell do you want? And you hurt your back got hurt. And let me just say this, Lo, before you take this over, and we'll get to more callers. If you are somebody out there with a conspiracy theory that is low IQ enough, now I'm not talking about you, Walter, to suggest that this was a plan that they ran him so he'd get hurt so Jimmy had to play, there could be nothing dumber, low IQ. I award you no friggin' points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Stop it. Just friggin' stop it. This isn't Hoosiers or some movie with Gene Hackman or The Replacements with Hackman in a football movie. This isn't your fantasy 2-hour movie that you get to go to where the script changes like The Longest Yard. Just stop it. Friggin' stop it, Lo. Drives me crazy, man.
Hey, I need to call Matt. I need to call our boss, Sean, and tell him, hey, look, give my check to you tonight because you're doing all the lift. I have nothing to say because you're absolutely.
Dude, I need you to say it. You're the man blocking for people.
He was trying to hurt him. Yeah. He's like, I'm hearing people say that, Sean, and it's just like, honestly, I'm like, wow. Are you serious? You think this coach would go and hurt this guy?
No, he wouldn't. He's a big body. He's trying to get him to win, and they spent a lot of capital on him. They want him to be successful. You know what it feels like to me? You remember Gilligan's Island? Lo, do you watch Gilligan's Island?
Yes.
Skipper and yeah. It feels
Absolutely.
like when Gilligan says
Marianne,
something really,
the movie star.
Yeah, the Professor and Marianne and all the rest here on Gilligan's Island, right on Gilligan's Island. It reminds me when Gilligan says something really stupid. And the skipper takes his hat off and hits little buddy over the top of the head because it's such a stupid comment. That belongs on Gilligan's Island remake 47. Let's get out to George in San Francisco. George, welcome in. Lo Neal, Sean Salisbury here on the Football Hour. Okay, no, George. Let's get out to Redwood Dave.
George!
Dave, welcome in, man. How you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. Hope you are, too. So, as a fan, what we're expecting to see from Trey Lance coming in is for him to be able to throw a more accurate deep ball, plus being able to escape from the pocket when the play breaks down, not necessarily to be a running-type quarterback. Not to say that he can't do that, but, I don't understand why we can't have the same Jimmy G plan, but him being able to throw the ball deep down the field and run for yardage when a play breaks
Okay,
down.
Dave, can I ask you a question? Don't hang up. Dave, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
And having played that position, I appreciate your thoughts, and I love the passion of callers and opinion. I do, and I respect them all. But listen to what you said now. I want you to put yourself in the quarterback or the coach position. You said, can't we just throw it deep? We do. When we go into a game, we have a game plan. And just because we call a deep ball, only throwing it when the coverage says don't throw it gets you in trouble. That's number one. So, yes, part of Trey's ability was the vertical stretch game to push the ball down the field. We didn't get to see it in Chicago. Why? Because the rain said so. It was a deluge that Josh Allen wasn't going to throw in that game. And then this week, we didn't get to see it because, he unfortunately got hurt. Now, I also have to mix in designed runs and runs out of the pocket. We didn't even get it. He carried it 3 times yesterday. Chicago game dictated because of the weather. Whether Kyle was going to run him 9 times or 3 times. Do you really think we go in, put a game plan in with that guy's ability and say, you know what? Let's give him the same. No, you're not giving him this. You're giving him a lot of the same passes and formations as Jimmy. But the reason why you replace Jimmy is for this kid's versatility. To put the defense in a bind and to create mismatches and to create the in your favor mismatches. Trey Lance is a mismatch with his ability. You can't go into a game and coach the ability to make. I got to design some runs, and it'll only make the inside run game when their running game's going better. They don't respect Jimmy on the edge running the ball defenses. They just don't. And I don't want to live. Listen, if you can't throw the ball from the pocket and deliver it on time with accuracy and process information, you ain't going to win in this league. But if you can do that and I can give you Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, stretches it. So I know people say, let's throw it deep. And then you know what happens when we throw it deep into coverage? The guy was covered. Why didn't he run? Why didn't we design a run on 3rd and 1? Quarterback 6'3" at 230. Why can't we do it? So I get the frustration, and I got to tell you this, Dave, and I don't mean this disrespectful at all. When it comes to us in the media or you, the fans, we all have our opinion. Guess what Kyle Shanahan doesn't give a fuzzy rat's ass about? What game plan you and I want. He does not. If he coaches for the fans, if he coaches for the opinion of 70,000 people in a stadium or people on Twitter, Kyle Shanahan will be fired in 3 days. Not from you or people who do know it, but can you imagine letting social media or fans booing dictate what your play calling was?
Right.
That ain't how he got there, and it sure as hell ain't how it's going to stay there. It is. It's crazy. Let's get out to Tommy in San Francisco.
No question.
Tommy, you're on with Low Neal. You got a question for him?
Yes, I do. Thank you for taking my call. I'm going to respect you guys because you both play at the highest level, so you know competition, right? So last year there was a competition at quarterback, right?
Where there was a competition where? Competition where? In San Francisco last year?
Quarterback.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't a competition. Jimmy had the job and Trey was given the job this year because they think he had more ability. There was never a competition.
So there was never a competition last year, and this year there was no competition either.
Well, Jimmy had the job, got him to the NFC Championship game with help from his friends. In the offseason with an injury, Trey didn't. And now, listen, I think Trey Lance is a wonderful talent. I'm not saying I don't agree with the decision they made. I'm telling you, when did the competition exist? Did Trey outplay Jimmy? No. Did Trey beat him out in training camp? No. Jimmy didn't practice. They gave him the job in the offseason and tried to trade him. This wasn't a two-guy competition, beat each other's brains in training camp, made the best man win. They went with who they thought had the best upside and who they thought could give him the best ability. There was no competition for this job.
So then the best upside is with Trey Lance. You agree?
The best what? The best upside? When you're talking now, if you're talking about pure the ability to do more, that he's got more upside with his athletic ability and his ability to stretch the field and his legs, there's no question about it. Jimmy's limited, but he's a more accurate passer, and the ball comes out quicker. Trey Lance has got a windup that's a bit slower than Jimmy. Both can be successful, and part of that is why Trey Lance, because you think that he could maybe maximize or break through the ceiling that Jimmy hasn't been able to get through. But make no mistake about it, today as we sit, if he was healthy today or last week, Trey Lance is not a better, when I say better, I'm not saying stronger arm or does it give you more potential. I'm talking about a better accuracy at this point in time. Trey's only started 4 games, so we got to give him a break, hell. And unfortunately, we don't get to see more of him. Upside, yes. I know guys that are sitting on a bench right now that have more upside than Joe Flacco.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
Flacco's going to play, right?
On the bench. He didn't have the upside right now. He wasn't there right now. Your buddy Mark even said that. He wasn't there right now. So they sold us this ability. We didn't want this. The fan base didn't want this. They want us to mortgage the future. We believed in them like they saw something that they could develop.
You know what? And Lo and I have been doing this show. Lo, you tell me, and your point's well taken, and thank you for the call. Appreciate you, Tommy. But I can tell you this, that the fan base, Lo and I do the show, overwhelmingly, for the most part, they wanted Trey Lance. They did. Now, there's that certain people that were looking at both, but as far as the what can get us to the next level, they wanted Trey Lance. And that's why he got the job this offseason, because Kyle felt, well, we've been there. Now what's going to get us to win in February as opposed to do it? But right today, and even when the season started, when he's healthy, Lo, the better player right now has been, and I hate for Trey Lance, but to limit his running ability and to tell me, and so he makes a good point there, Trey Lance didn't take the job from Jimmy. They gave it to him because they felt they were going to be better. And I get it, that's football now, but they're not going to take a step back throwing the ball because the unfortunate injury to Trey Lance. They're just not.
No, they're not. And I think what people fail to realize is this, Sean, where you and I are not saying, we understand what people are saying. They saying, hey, Jimmy G, as far as football IQ, knows more than Trey. Yes, that's true. You can look in L.A. down with the Chargers. There's a guy that's in his 15th year that knows more than the quarterback that's on that team. But the quarterbacks on that team, Herbert gives them a better chance to win. Now, I'm not saying, you and I are not saying that Jimmy gave the Niners a better chance to win. It gave them more consistency because you had a quarterback that's been in the system for 5 years that knows that everyone knows what you're getting. But Trey gave you more upside, and this is what Cal was banking on. By week 6, week 7, and week 8, fans would have been like, oh my God, it's the Trey show. Because now what people don't realize, when you see Trey ride the running back into the line, a scrimmage, now the linebackers come down to tackle, Kittle now over the middle, boom, pull the ball out and throw it. Now he rides him, and he's reading the defensive end. If the defensive end crashes, he pulls it, and because Trey's speed, he can get the edge, and he has the option. So now with Jimmy, the defensive end, they can do the same thing. If Jimmy puts the ball in the running back's stomach and he rides him to the line, the defensive end can crash and still recover because Jimmy doesn't have the speed. So me and Sean is telling you guys out there, we know that Jimmy's a better far as quarterback, far as knowing what to do, but he doesn't have the athletic ability and the skill set that Trey would have had that gave this Niner team more options.
If you could, Lo, that's so perfectly said. If you could take Jimmy's experience and accuracy and put it with Trey's ability, you got a Super Bowl champion. And you're hoping, what you were hoping was this year that Trey, like you said, by the middle of the season was going to get to that point. Listen, and the guy you're talking about is the kid from Missouri who's a backup quarterback who's been in the league 14, 15 years, but Herbert's a better player. But that guy's seen more at 15 years. Right. I should know more football IQ than a rookie coming into the league or a second-year guy. If I've been in the league 9, 10 years, Jimmy 8 or 9, that's exactly it. Nobody's saying Trey isn't qualified. Trey's just young and trying to get to the point of experience. And then the other side of it is you look at our guy Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy doesn't give you you don't have to respect him on the edge as a defense like you would Trey Lance. So you get more latitude and longitude when it gets to Trey Lance. But the injury has set it back. And that's fine. But you can't coach running out of him. You're just not going to hand it to him 30 times. But 3 runs and some runs in a bad inclement weather, we are making the injury was unfortunate, but people are tripping if you think that's the way it is. Okay, we got to roll through these calls, guys. They are. And not our callers, but nationally all over the place. All right, guys, let's take a couple seconds. We'll roll through them. I don't want to leave anybody on the table. Joe in San Jose, got you about 30 seconds, man. What you got?
What's going on, gentlemen? Hey, I think I mean, I don't know. You guys are the professionals. You guys know everything there is to know about the NFL. I believe that Eagle's going to crush this. Eagle's going to destroy this team. For the simple fact that Kyle Shanahan doesn't think he's doing anything wrong, and he doesn't have any sympathy for the hurt, and he's just going to do it my way, and that's the way it is. He's not Jimmy Johnson. You don't have that power yet. He's a new up and coming coach. And he's going to ruin the team that he has with his ego.
All right, Joe, thank you. Thanks. We appreciate the call. The guy's been to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl in the last 3 years, so I understand all of them have ego, but he was changing to his quarterback. Unfortunately, we only got to see a few games of it. Steven in Vallejo, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? Sean, you are on fire, my man, and I am all here for it. You're saying everything I said on Twitter yesterday to a T, and I was looked at like I was crazy. Right, Lo? What's up, man? It's your buddy Bab Sports. I just want to tell you I love your guys' show. I love your passion, and I love everything that you're bringing today. And, Lo, this season is going to be exciting for the Niners with Jimmy G. Let's get crazy.
I like it, Stephen. That's your guy. And thank you for the compliment, Stephen. Robert, let's get to you in Concord. And hey, we're sitting in the same church pew as Lowe would say. Robert, how you doing, man? What's up? Okay, let's get to Kyle in Walnut Creek. Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to mention 2 things. For Trey Lance, did they ever teach him to slide? It didn't seem like he ever slid in this situation. And the second thing is I think the same thing might happen to Debo, because they're putting him in harm's way on a lot of his tough carries up the middle, and he could get hurt in the future. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
No, Kyle, great point. We'll finish up and get to Debo. Now, listen, now Debo's a very thick, stout, and he's the best Swiss Army knife in the league, and he's getting paid for it, and he should. I think a lot of people are low that it's the constant grind inside. Now, I love what he does to defenses, Low. I know you do too. Debo is so good. Now, what I like as a greedy coach, what I like to mix in some jet sweeps and a handoff or a toss sweep once in a while, and inside the tackles once or twice. I'd like to throw him the ball 120 times in the slot and let him go win, and get him some bubbles and any way I can. But I don't want him. Now I know he could carry it 20 times a game from there, but like any back, and he makes a good point. The pounding eventually gets all of them. Derrick Henry's going in 5 years. D-Hen ain't going to be running like he's running now. They're going to wear his ass out, but they're not going to apologize for it. They're not going to apologize for it. Right.
And that's what people don't realize, Sean, just what you just alluded to. Derrick Henry, you look at the running backs in Dallas Cowboys, you look at him, he's slowing down, and everyone's saying, well, Debo's going to get hurt. No, Debo, any position, you're going to get hurt, but Debo's a different type of receiver. He's not a receiver that is tall, that's going to get hurt. This is a guy that loves contact. He's going to play physical, and that's why he got his money. He's a different type of guy. Debo could start in the league as a running back. You could run this guy 15 times. He could be one of those backs that you say, look, you're going to get 15, put him on a pitch count, just like the rest of the league. He could be a running back by committee. He can run in between tackles. He can run outside on the stretch plays. There's nothing Debo can't do that any running back in the league can do, Sean. You know that.
Completely. Body type's different, and unfortunately, over the course of time, this game is so violent and brutal. The shelf life for guys that get hit. The thing I like about Debo is he also delivers punishment, Low, and you've seen those guys too, that he initiates a lot of the punishment. So he's delivering blows instead of taking. Of course, it's going to be, but that's why you get paid. I don't want to not get Debo the ball. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I hope that you hope that Jonathan Taylor doesn't get hurt. Now you know what they're saying in Indianapolis today. Jonathan Taylor had 9 carries yesterday, and they got their ass waxed by Jacksonville. 9 carries. That's as good a back as there is in the league. And you know what they're saying? I go on every Monday in Indy. Low, you know what they're saying? Why isn't Jonathan Taylor
what
carrying the ball more? Right. Well, we want him to carry the ball more, right? And so my point is, yes, he needs to carry it more. And guess what? At some 5-7 years from now, guess what Jonathan Taylor's not going to be? The best back in the league. Why? Because they got shelf life with all the punishment they take and deliver. So I can't apologize like Nick Saban didn't to Derrick Henry in back-to-back games at Alabama where he ran him 40-plus times. It sucks. It's the reality of the game, and your best players have to touch it. And right now, the best football player on the offense on San Francisco is Deebo Samuel. But our callers are right. Yes, you're a bummer, but I can't say, well, I'm worried about him getting hurt, so I can only give it to him 8 times. Because if you do that and we lose by a touchdown in San Francisco, the conversation will be, why didn't Deebo touch the ball more? So you can't win for losing, as you said earlier. Kyle Shanahan, if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl or doesn't, why isn't Trey winning it? If Trey wins it, well, then why is Jimmy still on the roster? If neither one of them win it, it's Kyle's fault all the way around. So the bottom line is they won a game low. I know we got to go. I know it's passionate, dude, and I'm so I just, folks, just gather your senses like I got to do and get my head right because I got another week. But you cannot limit a tremendous player's ability by saying, well, I don't want him to run, because that takes away the reason you drafted a guy with that enormous skill set. So I hope Trey Lance gets healthy. Love the guy. It's still going to be a good season. The best insurance policy, you get to cash it in now. The thing with all that went on, the one thing we didn't want to have happen is Trey Lance get hurt, and here you are at 1-1 with the best backup quarterback in the league, who's better than 8 of the guys that are starting in the league right now. You're fortunate to have him with a Super Bowl roster. It's a blessing, but a bittersweet one because Trey Lance got hurt. Low, great stuff, man. Parting shot for you before you leave.
Hey, guys, be patient. Don't get off the bus. Don't get off the train. Stay on the plane. This is going to be okay. Trey got injured. I've been injured before. He's going to be fine. He's going to come back. Kyle Shanahan loves this young man, and no, he did not try to hurt him. So, guys, as Aaron Rodgers said, relax.
Yeah, that's exactly. Sit back on your patio, turn on a game, smoke yourself a cigarette. Okay, don't smoke a cigarette, but just enjoy yourself. Grab a cigar like I'm about to do. All right, my man. For Lo Neal, Lo, you're the best, brother. Thank you for your patience with my passion tonight, brother. I'm losing my game. I lost 8 pounds tonight just sweating it out talking about this. To Sterling and Cam, you guys are the best. To our listeners and callers, I love you guys. That's why we do it. 49ers win. We'll be back next week on the Football Hour here on the Salisbury Show, and grateful for all people who take part in this phenomenal show and to be a part of it. Dan Devone and Alan Stiles are up next. It is the Football Hour. It's 95.7 a game. We'll see you in a week right here, 95.7 a game.